Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's video is going to be a book chat on The Engineer. So I recently picked this up to read in time for a book discussion with the author on Raul Reed's channel, which occurred on May 10th, so definitely go check that out. By the time you watch this video, it'll have already occurred, so I'm just going to give you kind of like my brief thoughts on the book in general, because we'll dive more in depth with that in that live discussion. So without further ado, let's just jump right into my thoughts. But I guess before I go into my thoughts, I should probably give you a little bit of background about what's going on with the story. Essentially, this is following Actaeon, I believe that's how you say his name, and his adventures in this ruined world where there's just constant ruins all over the place. Technology of the ancient is just scattered around, and it's his job, or he's taken it upon himself to go around these ruins and just search for different things to make and kind of help the people of redemption. But other things are going down, like he's got encounterments with just monsters in the redemption. Raiders are after him, and as the story goes along, he meets new characters, and they all just kind of come together, and just some stuff goes down. But as that stuff goes down, he starts to learn more about the pyramid. It's this giant city in the kind of land of redemption. He starts to learn more about that and just the city that encompasses around it, the ruins. He just learns so much about it, and that's basically kind of what goes on. I really enjoyed it at the start. It was kind of everything that I was looking for. It's kind of like a mix of just Fallout and Skyrim with the ruins and the kind of ancient technology of the ancients that we have no idea what's going on. And you just throw all that out together, and then you have the story. It had a giant kind of pyramid in ruins where people were kind of living in and living around, and it's got just kind of halls of wonder, or not so much wonder, but just like you have no idea what's kind of going on within it, and as the story goes on, you kind of learn more about it. So at the beginning, like, I really was drawn into it. But then Actaeon as a character is very unique. He's like an adventurer and an engineer. And it's almost like I saw him as kind of like an Indiana Jones, the way he was kind of just exploring these ruins. Steve Talks About Books mentioned that he was the story is kind of like an Indiana Jones, and he's very kind of like to the point. But as the story goes on, he starts to get more humor, and just he learns more about just the banter with Trench and Wave, another two great characters. But he's just a very different character, and it was funny to kind of be in his mind at times and just understand like what's going through his mind when he kind of comes across these other raiders that are after him, or when he's trying to build something to help redemption. It's just funny to kind of be in his thoughts. And some of the other characters are pretty cool too, like Trench and Wave. Combine them with Actaeon, you have like the Three Musketeers or the Three Scrooges, depending on how you see that. Just the banter between them is like hilarious at times. And Trench and Wave have kind of like a past together that you'll learn throughout the book, but they're just like meant for each other essentially. Like they're two peas in a pod, and it was just funny to just listen to just their banter between each other, like taking digs. That was something that I really liked in the story. It kind of reminded me of Ham and Breeze from the Mistborn trilogy. And then Sandry, I hope that's how you say it, but she's just like this badass knight arbiter that will definitely kick your ass. Like you learn more about her throughout the series, but she's just like badass. Like she's very quiet and kind of not so much outgoing, but she's like a little sneaky ninja, and she'll come out of nowhere and just like cut you in half. And then just more and more characters are just introduced throughout the story, and you learn more about them as it goes along. And it was just interesting to just see how everything kind of played out with the kind of different kind of like countries, I guess, or I don't know how to explain it, but they were all kind of interacting together in redemption. But unfortunately, as the book went on, I felt like I was starting to just lose that enjoyment that I initially had. It was almost like this giant puzzle piece that just had all the right pieces that I really wanted, but I just couldn't put it together. And that made me sad because I just enjoyed it so much in the beginning, and then as it kind of progressed, I was just having trouble kind of centering around just like what the main plot was. Like it would have little kind of plot lines, kind of like side quests essentially, and they would kind of go on that, and then it would just leave off with that. And I was curious as to like, would it come back to the future? And I hoped it would, especially like, I can't go with spoilers or anything, but like it would go off and then it would somewhat finish, and then that would just be the end. So that's what really disappointed me, was just that I wasn't able to just identify the main plot and what was really going on until the very end. And I don't think that it was kind of present until the very end. So I don't think this is more of like a plot-centered story. I feel like this is more character-driven maybe. I really would have enjoyed this more if it was kind of like a novella, kind of mini-series, or just like a graphic novel. I feel like a graphic novel with like the banter and the characterships between like Trench and Wave and all of them, like it would have made a great graphic novel, or just like a mini novella series. Because I mean, this is a big book. I think it was like 601 pages, and it took me a little over a week to read. So, and it was just tough to get through at times because I was just like lost at where to go. But you might be asking me like, Ian, why are you doing a book chat on this if you didn't enjoy it? Like, I did enjoy it. I loved the beginning. I loved everything that was going on with it. I just wasn't able to kind of just connect these puzzle pieces like I mentioned. And it's something that I really want to just give another try and kind of spread out throughout the time. Like maybe you read a part one, and then just later on, and like a couple weeks later or so, come back and do part two and see how my enjoyment changes. But overall, like, it was still a good book. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars though, and that's still like a high rating compared to just all the other books I've read. Comparing, I know those other books I've read are just really kind of well known, but this is kind of, I believe, a debut novel, and it was enjoyable. Like, I had a good time with it in the beginning. I just couldn't connect those pieces. And I wanted to do a book chat because I feel like this is a book perfect for a lot of people. It just wasn't for me. But those were just like my little brief thoughts. Please let me know your thoughts on this book if you've read it. Go check out that discussion that we did with Raul Reeds and the author. It'll be on his channel. I'll make sure to leave the link to it because this will be out by the time that discussion will have already occurred. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on another adventure. I'll make sure to leave some other videos that I recommend you check out. If you want to connect with me on social media, I'll make sure to leave those down below as well. I hope you all have a good day, and there's a special message from Ellie today, and she says, adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.